Good afternoon. It's meteorologist Michael Fecco. Welcome back to the 2:30 in the afternoon streaming show that we do here every day, Monday through Friday. We're going to go through a look at our forecast ahead, and then we're going to transition over to some news headlines. So you'll want to stick around through the entire stream here so you can get up to date on everything you need to know for news and weather. But let's get started here with our headlines for the weather. And we've got some showers across the tri-state right now. We have a few thunderstorms as well, a lot of which has actually diminished since this morning. So we've actually entered a little bit of a lull here this afternoon, but we're still expecting at least some isolated scattered showers or even a few thunderstorms to persist into this evening before drying out overnight. And then we've got some more showers and storms to talk about through the end of the work week, but there is the potential for at least a few severe storms, not only today, but mostly for tomorrow. So that's why we have that alert in effect for our Friday, and then storms continue likely through this weekend before clearing out into the middle of next week. But in terms of our storm risks for today, here we are on Thursday. We've got that marginal level 1 risk kind of painted across the Ohio River Valley entirely. It almost encompasses the entirety of the tri-state there. That is just for the chance of an isolated damaging wind gust. So we're not really expecting much in the way of severe weather. We hardly had any thunder and lightning. But tomorrow, our chances are slightly greater. You'll notice that we have that green and yellow color now. So that yellow color indicates that level 2 out of 5 for severe weather. So we could see some scattered severe thunderstorm warnings, especially along and south of the Ohio River. And then we'll continue that storm risk into Saturday, but again, a lot lower, so back down to that level 1, similar to what we were expecting for today. But on Friday, in addition to a few severe thunderstorm warnings, we're looking at the potential for some minor flooding, and then we've got the chance for some damaging wind gusts, and there is an isolated tornado threat, but it does not appear to be a widespread or a strong threat by any means. So you still need to be paying attention to the weather for tomorrow, but luckily it looks like these storms are going to be moving through during the afternoon, so nothing is going to be moving in overnight. So that is good news. But here's a look at each of these days from now until Saturday. Again, level 1 today and on Saturday. Tomorrow, Friday, that level 2 risk primarily for that damaging wind threat. So some very strong winds possible if thunderstorms can kind of line up together and form a bow. And then within that line, you could get those very weak spin-up tornadoes along the leading edge. So that is kind of what we're expecting in terms of our severe weather setup for the next several days. So again, the threats are overall lower, but we really haven't had much of a severe weather threat in the last couple of weeks. So this is kind of coming back to us here as we enter into June. But here's our setup right now across the U.S. We've got this very elongated cold front that transitioned to a stationary front through the Midwest there, and that's kind of what's keeping everything unsettled and a little bit dreary and wet through our neck of the woods for today. So showers will just continue to kind of bubble up along that front, and that will continue to push here into the tri-state through the rest of this afternoon, and then eventually, by the time we get into tonight, everything should start to diminish before working its back in through tomorrow afternoon for more rain. But here's a look at the future radar. So 4:30, we have some showers still poking through areas like southern Illinois and even into western Kentucky there. They'll start to diminish mostly after sunset tonight, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies. And then we'll stay dry even into Friday morning. And then this model wants to bring that chance for, again, some more thunderstorms between the hours of 12 and 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So that 6-hour window where we could catch a few warnings there. But you can see that the graph, actually our in-house model, isn't too overly impressed with tomorrow's setup, whereas some other models have a little bit more of a defined line. So that's just something we're going to have to watch the trends here through tonight and into tomorrow. But overall, the general timing remains the same for Friday, pretty much between noon and 6 o'clock at night. And then everything will clear out of here by Friday night, and we should stay dry into the overnight hours and into Saturday morning before more rain moves in for Saturday afternoon. Right now, temperatures across the tri-state are ranging in the upper 70s to lower 80s. 79 here in Evansville, and same thing there in Henderson. 78 in Owensboro, 83 in Madisonville. We've got a couple of clouds out there due to that front, but maybe one thing you may be noticing more outside of the warmer temperatures and the rain is the stifling humidity. Our dew points are topping out at around 70 degrees right now. That is a tropical air mass. Any dew points in the 70s is considered tropical. So unfortunately, we're going to be stuck in this very thick air here for the next several days until we get into the beginning of next week. Then we'll start to dry out that air mass, and it should start to feel a little bit more comfortable out there. But today, we're a degree or two left to go. We're a high of around 81 degrees this afternoon. Tonight, we'll drop down into the upper 60s for our overnight lows, with mainly dry skies expected, but you can't rule out maybe a sprinkle or an isolated shower. And then we've got those showers and thunderstorms, a few of which may be strong or severe, moving through for Friday afternoon and into Friday evening, topping out at around 80 degrees once again. Now, looking at our rain chances for the next several days here, we start to see them drop off gradually as we go through the weekend and into the beginning of next week. And the Climate Prediction Center kind of highlighting that point as well. We may end up right around average or maybe even slightly above in some spots. But overall, it should start to be a little less unsettled by next week. And let me show you why. Here's the European model. So outside of this weekend, as we go into the beginning of next week, we'll have another cold front move through on Monday. That'll bring us a chance for some more showers then, and then we should start to clear things out of here by Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, and then again into Thursday. So there is another chance for some more dry time there through the middle of next week before more rain moves in for Friday. And in terms of our temperatures, we're expected to also remain right around average for this time of year. So not seeing any huge swings as we go through the next 6 to 10 days. And let me show you what the 7-day forecast looks like here. Again, we're topping out mostly in the lower 80s through this 7-day period, with showers likely continuing with a few thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, and then again on Monday. And then we have a much drier middle and end of next week. So that is all I have for the forecast here. I'm going to take a look at our Facebook comments to see if you guys have any questions for me. I'm happy to answer them for you. So let me go ahead and look. Doesn't look like I'm seeing much in the way of questions, but we have Scott with a report. He said all the rain had missed our area today, and the radar is showing it as well. Yes, we have that stationary front that's going to be moving through, so you'll likely see at least another shower or two as we go through the rest of our day. But that wraps up the forecast portion of our news and weather stream show here. I'm going to hop off, but stick around. Jamie, French, and Robinson Miles are here to give you guys the latest breaking weather headlines, or news headlines, excuse me.
Your way. We have a safety alert for all of you moms and dads out there.
Get breaking news and investigations here on the 14 News app.
Storms rolling into the tri-state.
Get instant forecasts and real-time weather alerts here on the 14 First Alert Weather app.
And stream live on your TV here or watch anytime on your schedule.
We're covering breaking news.
Indiana State.
Stay connected to 14 News wherever you are. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our afternoon news headline update. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Of course, we're just eager to give you guys an opportunity to get a sense of what we are working on today. Of course, we're still figuring things out here.
We
know that yesterday you could barely hear me, and we know that was a benefit to all of you. And we had some troubles with our power a little bit earlier, but now we are off and running. So first things up today is we are actually going to start in Owensboro, where we are looking at a major traffic alert that's going to be coming up here in just about a month.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This one is going to really impact people in both Spencer County and in Davis County. The Owensboro Blue Bridge will be completely shut down after July 4th. Now, we gave you a very advanced heads up about this back in October. Crews are having to do a lot of work there. You know, the bridge is very old, unfortunately, so they have to replace the bridge deck. They have to do some concrete repairs, and then also the joints of the bridge. Essentially, they need to repair those as well just to make sure it's still safe for people to cross. So it's going to be a bit of a headache, but of course some much needed work.
True. Now, some preliminary work on that is going to start as early as next week, and then single lane closures planned for June 9th, 10th, and 11th, even though the big closure isn't going to happen until the very beginning of next month. Of course, we'll be back open around the 1st of October. Now, if we look at the release that we actually got from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, of course, this is something that people have been talking about for a long time, when it's going to close, and they've been playing around with plans a lot, so they say that it's not going to be closed for near as long as they had initially worried, so definitely an inconvenience, but could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to those releases, for those who've not experienced this, they always call the Blue Bridge by its full Christian name.
They do.
It's very confusing.
Yes.
Like, that's not what it is.
Yes,
it's
you're
the
exactly
Blue
right.
Bridge.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But of course, an inconvenience for folks, so we'll continue to keep you updated along the way as that construction advances. Now, something else that we are continuing to follow is sort of a development here in Evansville, especially for those West Siders down on Franklin Street. Chasers Bar and Grill is rebranding. They have some new owners.
Now, this is going to be a big shift because Chasers has kind of become a bit of a Franklin Street staple, so getting a bit of a new look down there is going to be quite the change. Now, part of this is that they have new owners, and as you can see, we were down there just a little bit earlier today. Those signs are already gone. So if you go down Franklin Street, you'll be able to see things are already changing.
Yeah, that's right. So nothing new in its place just yet that we know of. We don't know exactly what is to come. But if you do remember, unfortunately, this comes 2 months after an incident between a customer and a Chaser security guard, and then that led to a lawsuit. So sort of a rocky boat there. They're starting to rebrand. They're going to be open during this rebranding process. They say you can still come on in and have a drink if you'd like while they're working on this transition. But they posted on their Facebook as well that they're hoping to foster a very safe and fun and welcoming environment for folks. So I'm excited to see what's going to go in its place because, you know, Franklin Street has a lot of very cool establishments. So I'm interested to see what's going to join the rest of the folks down there.
A lot of pressure in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Franklin Street has such a reputation for being a fun place.
Yeah.
You got to step up to that. Now, of course, as Jamie mentioned, if that was one of your favorite spots, do not worry. It is still going to be open, even though, again, we don't really know what this is going to look like looking forward,
so,
but it is going to stay open, so you can still pop in.
Yep. All right. Well, that's really going to do it for our main headlines today. Of course, we've got a lot more to talk about, so join us on 14 News at 4. You can join Rob and I at 5 and 6, and of course, he's on 10 as well. So we've got a lot to go through. Our reporters have been busy today, so of course, that'll do it for us now. Thanks for watching, and have a great afternoon.